Good day everyone, Steve here. So for today's video, I'm gonna be talking about Castlevania, specifically giving my thoughts on it, and what I'm expecting next for like the fifth season. So pretty much like over the weekend, I just finished watching Castlevania, which all I have to say for it is pretty much its peak. I actually really enjoy the show a lot. And as usual, I've like heard from the show on like social media before. And it also seemed pretty interesting because it's vampire because because all I know about, well, the only thing I knew about it had something to do with vampires, specifically one of them named Alucard, which the only other Alucard I know is Alucard from Helsing. So yeah, and like yeah, generally I think the two anime the two other animes, of course, I've watched that had something to do with vampires other than Castlevania. It was Call the Night and Helsing. So yeah, so pretty much Castlevania is now my next anime, of course, I've watched was like vampires and generally monsters and stuff. But anyway, that's aside that. But like generally, I really enjoyed the show a lot. Like I love all the characters, of course. I do feel bad for like Dracula himself, and he's like back and like, seeing him, yeah, as well as his suffering, pretty much. Like I really enjoyed the show a lot. It was like yeah, as I stated, the characters, of course, each one having like their own moments to shine. That being in the form of like either redemption or redemption, of course, or being killed off. Which I really love. And then it was like the end of the fourth season, of course, implying that we're gonna get to see when that being was like Dracula and his wife, of course, are now back. But essentially are now back from the dead, of course, but they're kind of like hiding, or the remaining like they're mainly in hiding, of course. They don't want to be found by anyone, pretty much, which implies for like the fifth season that being for me, I had for my prediction being for the fifth seasons, but we're probably gonna have like a jump ahead in time, that maybe like a few years after the events of the fourth season, where we see Trevor Trevor, Alucard, and Cypher, of course, aged up a bit. And then we also get to see like as well as we're gonna get to see Trevor and Cypher's kid, pretty much as well. We're gonna get basically some time with them, of course, seeing them like rebuilding. Them pretty much rebuilding, building like an entire village, of course, and they're probably still out, hunting monsters. And then we're also gonna have some time with like Dracula and his wife, of course. That being how seeing them how they're living their lives now as like new people, pretty much. And I have a feeling we're gonna get to see all those characters, of course, eventually like I don't know meet each other at some point, which I would love to see, pretty much. But that's like, and there's probably gonna be some other stuff going on as well. I don't know what exactly, but either way, I can't wait for like a fifth season. I can't wait for the fifth season, and once it like gets announced. So yeah. And like generally, I really love Castlevania a lot, low key. So yeah. And I know there's like a game. That's only for like the anime. I know there's the game for it, which I don't really know much about, which I am probably gonna get into next. So yeah. But anyways, that's all I have to say for today's video. I hope you guys also agree with me. Like if you that be was like you also like talk about how much we all love Castlevania. But that's all I have to say. But I am gonna. Oh yeah, I'm also gonna give my review, of course, as well for the Odyssey. I actually did also finish watching the. Well, it's not called the Odyssey, but it's the 1954 film, Italian film called Ulysses, which is essentially based off the Odyssey. Just the only difference being different name. It's an Italian film, and yeah, but I won't spoil too much because I'm gonna give my review on that later on. So yeah, and also like already I've already watched the film as well as like finish like the original story, and now I'm gonna like watch but now I'm gonna watch like the newest one, the 2026 Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. I'm gonna give my reviews on those as well as like as well as compare the differences. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Hope you guys have a splendid day. Bye bye.